Hello everybody! Greetings! It is I, Countess Naravan Dracovin, in a jaunty pirate hat today. Your Lord and Emperor, here for yet another one of our favorite things to do, as of lately here. The Dungeons & Dragons Adventures of the Forgotten Realm Random Adventure Builder. Now, if you've never been to one of these, it's where I take a pack of these Adventures of the Forgotten Realm magic cards, and I build an adventure out of them. Now I have some basic rules that I'm going to go over. I have to use every card in this pack, including tokens and lands. There must be at least 3 encounters with enemies that I'll put together here. And any kind of dungeons, I have to have a basically kind of type, layout, that kind of thing, ideas about them. Then each type of card, I've got some specific rules for. We're not going to worry about those rules until I'm working on them. Now, some things that you'll see here. I have, of course, right there, this nice area here where, if you see, I can pop that on there. There's a card. So I'm going to be showing off whatever cards I'm talking about right there. Also, right now we're going to have that off. And then also, right over here on the screen, you will see that I am going to be typing in some information here. We're just going to say hello. That's where I'm going to make all my notes. I'm going to basically make all my notes about the adventure as I build the adventure up there. And we're going to work together, and I'm going to basically brainstorm with the pirate hat on. I got to use this other than just Buccaneers of the Shackled Sea. I'll date this a little bit, because that's by the time this is done. But using just more than just this pack. You know, I'm going to pick the stuff together from this pack and build an adventure, and it'll be a neat one. And we'll kind of get an idea of level and stuff like that. So, let's start with our basics, which is, of course, opening the pack. So let's do that right now. Let's open this pack and see what we have. And from there, we can start developing and figuring out what's going on. So, let's take a crack and see what we get. Alright, here. Let's just open up this pack here. On screen. Just like, ooh. Ooh. That's going to be difficult. Instantaneously, I got some difficulties. I got a dungeon. So let's see what we got here. We have Unexpected Windfall. Alright, that's not a bad card. I can think of some ideas for that one. Plummet. Okay. Armory Veteran. That could be an ally or an enemy. A Hired Hexblade. We've seen one of these before, but we can kind of use it in different ways. A Sylvan Shepherd. The interesting thing will be when I come up with a lot of repeats and stuff like that. A Dawnbringer Cleric. Secret Door. Ooh, Secret Door, that's fun. A Valor Singer? A Bard. We got a Tiefling Bard. Valor Singer. It's going to be a little... The cards on the side will be a lot better to see these here. A Rhyme Shield Frost Giant. When I put them up there. Ooh! Full Art Black Dragon. We're going to be using a Black Dragon. Uh-oh. Iron Golem. Oh boy. A Hulking Bugbear. Oh my. We got some issues now. Tiamat. I got Tiamat. We got some issues. A Priest of Ancient Lore. And of course, we've got a Swamp. And of course, the Tomb of Annihilation. Which, I have to say, oddly enough, second time Tomb of Annihilation. That was the last time we did one of these. Oh boy! We got some stuff here to work with. So the first thing I like to do is I like to kind of think about, what do we have here? We got a lot of, like, really, honestly, deadly encounters. That's the first thing I'm going to set here. This screams very difficult battle. Not impossible, but pretty difficult. I'm just going to quickly get together all the cards that we're going to see while we chat about this. It's a lot of creatures. Only a couple of spells. Like, that's the thing about it that I'm looking at here first, is that I don't have a lot of, like, I have a lot of creatures that's going to scream what's going to build up in my story. Now, this feels like a very high-level story is the thing I'm going to be talking about here. I have talked about a personal pet peeve of mine when it comes to 5th edition. I'm not as big a fan of high-level play there. So I'm thinking we can have a higher-level adventure, but I don't want to go, like, super high-level adventure because, you know, that's not my style when it comes to 5e, when it comes to Dungeons & Dragons. I want something a little more held back, I guess is what it is. So the Black Dragon's a really cool one. So I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to take a look at some of these things here and figure out what we're doing with them. Like the Iron Golem instantaneously screams something difficult. Iron Golems are tough to fight. So I'm already looking at that being difficult. Tiamat herself, again, the thing I've said about legendaries, which is important here, legendary creatures can either be used it's for villains. They can be the boss adventure, something to deal with in some way. They could influence the adventure and not actually show up. They could be used for NPCs. So I'm thinking with Tiamat, we're not gonna fight Tiamat. That's a little silly. So I think we're gonna definitely have Tiamat be our MacGuffin in a way. I think we're gonna have to figure out a way just to have. I mean, it's cool that Tiamat's a mythic rare. So I mean that's automatically, and we do have the. It looks like a common, the Priest of Ancient Lore. We got a lot of like creatures definitely here. So I think what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to start with, honestly, the Swamp and the Tomb of Annihilation. Swamp. Oh boy. And let's just quickly grab Tomb of Annihilation then. That's all I wanted. So, yeah. Last time I used the Tomb of Annihilation, I was a little more literal with the rooms and making them kind of traps and stuff. I think this time I want to do something a little different. So let's take a look at the Tomb of Annihilation. Let's get this up and running here. And let's think about what we want to do with it. Because the other side of the Tomb of Annihilation is the Atropol, of course. The god horror that is an issue. So the thing is, because that's a legendary creature token, there are two sides to this. Tomb of Annihilation side and this side. And I'm going to have to think about both these sides. Last time, I only used the one side and not the other. Specifically because it's hard enough using one of these sides. And the way that I've kind of established using dungeons in one of these is you're not really using the Tomb of Annihilation, but the rooms and encounters. So, like, the idea of summoning the Atropol, kind of difficult. But I made it that something else would be summoned in the Cradle of the Death God. In this case, the idea that something is being summoned can be used again. I gotta be honest. The rooms and encounters can help me build this dungeon in a way still. I can make it different, but still have some of the same flavor of these things. We have a trap area. An oubliette is kind of a prison. You've got like two other various kind of more, I feel like, the Veils of Fear, Sandfall Cell. They're very, like, trap-related routes. And, of course, the Cradle of Death God summoning a horrible thing. In this case, I think it's summoning, maybe not Tiamat directly, but, like, an aspect of Tiamat is being summoned. So Tiamat here is going to be, because this is our legendary, it's an NPC, we're not going to make it like a difficulty. Let's switch over to Tiamat there, so we can see Tiamat. It's not going to be the true thing we're fighting against. You know, we're going to be using the Tomb of Annihilation again, in a way. And I'm going to change it from a tomb. I don't want this to be a tomb anymore. I was a tomb last time. I kept it a tomb. But remember, I don't have to have a tomb with this. I'm going to make something different. I'm going to make what's being summoned here, again, not the Atrical, but I'm going to use the idea of the Atrical to say we're summoning like Tiamat, an aspect of Tiamat. And that's what we're doing. And we already have our villain in this. Very easily and very obviously, the Black Dragon. And look, we're even conveniently in a swamp. So we've already established that the basic plot line is evil Black Dragon trying to summon aspect of Tiamat in swamp. But what do we want to make this in the swamp? We did a tomb before. I've done old monastery. I don't want to keep it just simple. Let's see, what would we find maybe in a swamp? What would we find a swamp that a black dragon might have moved into? Well, you could be like, cave system. Cave system's easy. It's nothing like fancy though. How about I got it. That's going to make it interesting. In swamplands, where old temple to Bahamut, I'm not going to spell his name right at all. I'm going to warn you now. I'm not going to spell Bahamut right. Has hidden temple to Tiamat under old. Let's call it Old Ruined Temple. And we'll just justify this like that. There we go. Cool. We just came up with a basic plot. We've got an evil black dragon who's going to be our boss. I'm honestly going to have to like look up a good difficulty for black dragons. Let's take a look at black dragons. Let me go to another page. And let's look up a black dragon quickly. Black Dragon 5e. Let's look at an adult black dragon. Because that might be the way that we can scream the battle we're going to have. So an adult black dragon is challenge 14. That's pretty difficult. So, honestly, an adult black dragon could be the big boss. Iron Golem. Let's check in the Iron Golem. I do want to see what difficulty that is, too. Just because I've got these big monsters. That's challenge 16. Ooh. See, I've got an Iron Golem, and that's kind of dangerous, because it's challenge 16. And those are like the big things I've got right now. There's a Frost Giant in here, too, which is kind of interesting. So I can maybe build a story out of this. And I'm kind of formulating a little bit of how it is. So I think what we can do here is we're going to have to take a look at all these different cards, because I also have, of course, good old Swampland that we're working off of. And the quote on this Swampland is, "You expected to meet hostile drow in the ancient ruins, but they fled long ago. What darkness could have driven them out?" So the thing is, that's an interesting thing. That's like a, see, like, I kind of want to use that portion of it. Let's build a little history here. We're not quite at the starting the adventure part. We're building a little bit of history. We have this summary here of what the adventure is going to be. And so, people's quest there is. There was the temple to Bahamut, not spelled correctly, was overrun by Trow. Some time ago. May still occupy. Tasked to retrieve an artifact of Bahamut. Maybe I'm spelling it better now. Is that the way you spell it? Maybe. I honestly can never remember how to spell Bahamut's name. I'm very bad at spelling, though. See, that's giving us an idea that perhaps this artifact is being corrupted to summon an aspect of Tiamat. So now we've got this. And so maybe, like, we have an old, damaged Iron Golem. So there's a giant golem in there. It's very dangerous, but it's like maybe like at half health or something. That could be an encounter that we could have there. Putting it at half health will make it much less difficulty. Then this could be, I'm feeling like this is for level, level 10 to 11. This is going to be our highest level adventure yet. So we do have a couple of spells here, and the rest of these are creatures. One artifact, a secret wall. Yeah, the rest of these are just creatures, which makes it kind of a thing that we have to figure out what we're doing with all these creatures. Because some of these are going to help establish the storyline, and some of these are going to be difficulties that they'd find in the temple. So like the bugbear, I can use the bugbear. You know, maybe the black dragon servants are a bunch of bugbears. There's a tribe of bugbears that serve it that you're going to have to deal with. So, instantly, let me kind of move over to Hawking Bugbear there. See? We have a bugbear and tribe working there. And also, of course, I was talking about the Iron Golem. I think it's just being a little bit more like wounded or something. The other creatures that we have here, of course, let's take a kind of like look at them. We have what looks to be one more enemy type, possibly. And that's, of course, the Rime Shield Frost Giant. Frost Giant working in a swamp for a black dragon. Now, the thing is, I can think of a reason why. I can have it. This is a Frost Giant that perhaps was indentured to service of a white dragon, another servant of Tiamat, and basically lent aid of this Frost Giant to this black dragon for this ritual. Maybe. That could be a good reason why. There could be a network of evil dragons working together to summon this aspect of Tiamat. And, of course, then, you know, we have 6 other creatures. Let's kind of go over them. We have the Armory Veteran, which is a big, like, dude with weapons. Okay. We, of course, have the Hired Hexblade, a warlock that someone hired on to work there. Okay. We have a Sylvan Shepherd, a druid. So we got a druid, a human druid, a Dawnbringer cleric. Okay, okay. Get some Cure Light Wounds, Gentle Pose. The Valor Singer, the Bard, of course, and a Priest of Ancient Lore. Ooh. I think, in this entire thing, I can use these 6 to be 6 important NPCs in the course of the story. Because I feel like this story here is a much bigger story than one of the ones I've told before. So rather than the ones before, which might be a couple of sessions, I feel like this one might be a adventure, more or less. So it's sort of like, we already have established of something that's, you know, maybe we're starting at level 9 and building into that. So let's kind of like build from what we have here. Like, certain ones here, we just have to figure out. Now, the other things that we have here are, of course, Unexpected Windfall, which, let's put that up here just for a second, just as we talk about it, which is all about getting a little bit of treasure and stuff like that. Now, I can keep this easy and be like, oh, you find some treasure in some place or something like that. Of course, we have Plummet, which, you know, is taking out a dragon. And, of course, then, the secret door. But we can put the secret door in our temple thing and hiding something important. The 6 NPCs and a lot of creatures here make this a little difficult. Like, I already have, like, an idea for, honestly, 4 encounters. Now, I could have one of these other characters kind of be evil. The only one that screams it could be evil is maybe the Hired Hexblade. Maybe. That's a tough one, though, still. Let's check something here. Green Dragon. Adult Green Dragon is CR 15. It's more difficult. Young Green Dragon. Maybe we go Young Green Dragon. CR 8. Okay. Alright, let's see here. Let's try to make this a really interesting encounter, because I think, like, we have a lot of stuff. We have a lot of pieces that we can work off of here. And I'm beginning to formulate what I want to do with these pieces. So let's start with Plummet, in fact. I think that's a perfect place to start. So I've made these little notes here about our adventure, but let's start the actual adventure. I think that's going to be important. So we start... No, actually, you know what? Let's start with Unexpected Windfall. So, because these are characters that are, like, I felt like would be good around, like, 10th and 11th level, let's think about it this way. I'm going to use this Hired Hexblade first. I'm going to use this. And I'm going to use Plummet and Unexpected Windfall for our phase 1 of our adventure, let's call it. I'm thinking of 3 phases to this adventure, and this is going to be phase 1. So let's talk about these phases. So, this works with a pre-established team. Important note. Group gets word from an old friend who just passed away. Left them some items in the will. That's where we start out with the Unexpected Windfall. So, the idea is this Unexpected Windfall, I'm using it in a very interesting way, because I've always said that the instants in these sets are kind of like sudden things that happen in your game. You know, what the effects are determines it, but this basically alters the plans of the characters. But in this case, it's altering the plans very early on. This is drawing into the adventure. I'm creating 2 treasure tokens. Fortunes favor the fortunate. So that's where we're starting at here. We have just gotten them a whole heap and load of trouble. Go to estate. And that's when we're going to find it under attack by Young Green Dragon and a number of Warlock mercenaries. An odd combination that's going to be happening. But our first battle will be determined by Plummet. And in this case, the idea will be the players have to fight Green Dragon. This shows off a nice old Green Dragon getting beat the shit out of. And it's sort of like you're felling it to the ground. That's where I'm taking this kind of a literal thing here. I'm having the first battle here. And the thing is, they're going to be level 10 or 11. Let's say level 11. CR 8. And the Warlocks, they could be a little difficult, but not too much. So this is going to be like a little bit of a teaser opening fight, you know? We got the Plummet here, of course, which depicts the green dragon being beat up, meaning there's a green dragon that's going to attack this estate. Why is it attacking this estate? You know, it opens it up. They will be assisted by, of course, I think a good one would be our friend here, the Armory Veteran. So, the old traveling companion and veteran. How do I put you? I have the word in front of me. I can spell it then. Assists PCs. So this is basically the start of the story. We have the Armory Veteran now as an important NPC. That's someone from the estate. So, a key was stolen. It was one of the items that was item that was going to the PCs. So key was stolen. One of the items that since there's sort of like this big old battle was a distraction for the key to stolen. You will learn from this NPC, the Armory Veteran, the warrior that helped you, that it was found by members of the friend old party. Members of friend's old party found. This is going to take them in the initial quest, where I'm going to have them kind of this first part here go and journey to meet with a few people. Each one are going to let them have a little bit of information about what's going on right now. We're going to start out with the two NPCs that I think are going to be important. These two here. These are the two I'm going to use. I'm going to use the Valor Singer here, and I'm going to use the Priest of Ancient Lore. Where are you on my list here, Priest? There you are, Priest of Ancient Lore. I'm going to use the Valor Singer as the first lead they're given. The Bard lives in a town nearby. Is in town nearby. First source of info on key and who would what. So I've kind of changed what I'm going to here, you know? I've kind of like evolved what I'm doing here. So this is going to be like an investigation kind of story. That the first part here, this part one we got here. We got this investigation that your PCs are going on. It's like, you know, this old friend of theirs. That leads them to part two. Leads them to the priest. Has knowledge. Let them know about temple and artifact. So that temple and artifact of Bahamut that I was talking about, the priest knows about it, and this key was the way to unlock it. So someone wants to steal it. So rather now than recovering it first. Go and, you know, make sure to get it back from these people that are trying to steal this artifact of Bahamut. This item of Bahamut's. So now I've gotten our priest here being another important NPC. We've got these two important. Now, the Bard, let me say not an important NPC, but you can have an entire scene in the town with the Bard. The Bard might have to like convince to help you out, you know. I feel like I'm gonna say like here, like, you know, must convince Bard to help. Drinks, lives out old glory. So there you go. we now have established these 2 NPCs. You know, one of them you have to kind of like work with here, convince them to help you out, kind of get them to help you. Okay, cool. I have 6 cards in, so we're not that far in here, but we're establishing a pretty good story here. So this will take them to the next part here, where I'll actually say, like, the priest is busy, but let's do something a little interesting here, because sometimes you like to do this, and I always have to do this. Give them another cleric. The priest is busy, but this cleric here is an acolyte of that one. Goes with them, knows a few things, can help them out. Maybe can overcome some traps and problems that might be established. So now I've established this Dawnbringer cleric, given cleric escort to help them with their quest. Because, like, this is, like, I've already made it personal. Something that was going to be inherited by them, stolen. I'm not happy about that. You can learn that, it's believed that the temple was in a land that has become a swamp. And they'll get the story of, drow that attacked it. Land was corrupted to swampland by evil magic. You know, temple fell to ruin. There we go. So now I've established swamp. Our good old friend here, swamp. We're using it now. Cool. Awesome. We've established that. Great. We've certainly used a good chunk of these already, but we still have more to go. We need to bring in the bugbears and the druid. So, the cleric had asked a druid friend of theirs to look into the temple and lost in the swampland, because it has kind of like sunk into the swamp kind of thing. Priest had asked druid friend to find temple, lost contact, temple sunk into swamps, which leads to bugbear tribe that works for Big Bad captured druid. Must rescue. So now I've just established that our Sylvan Shepherd here is a druid that's been captured by the bugbears. And now we have this entire second part here, part 2, where you're going against the hulking bugbears in order to rescue the druid. So once you've rescued the druid, druid reveals location of temple. This is a location of temple. Reveals that evil has taken over. Basically, the catacombs beneath it have been converted to an evil temple to Tiamat. They learn that evil has taken over. And now we can go to our last bit of cards here. We're going to take the damaged Iron Golem, and we're going to have damaged Iron Golem is Guardian of Ruins. So in order to get access to the ruins, the evil dragon, who can swim and go under the water, and their forces have found their way in. And of course, the Iron Golem guards the land-based way in. So once they get in there, they get into these catacombs converted into Evil Temple. Drow, nowhere to be found. So, that's where we get into here. We get into our Tomb of Annihilation. So we've got our big fight before we enter. We can have the first room. So I think we'd have to do is like entryway trapped, land-based entryway trapped, number of dead ends, some with traps. We'll probably add like a dungeon here. Dungeon here with, you know, probably tortured prisoners. But I think what we should do here is, that's kind of adding in here. We got the dungeon for the oubliette. We've got the traps for the trap here. We know what they're summoning. We haven't learned that they're summoning. So the Frost Giant guards dungeon the prisoners who are sacrifices. That's a good thing. Sacrifices. There we go. So yeah, I used the Iron Golem there as defending the place. And now we're back on the, of course, Tomb of Annihilation. Alright, so, and then we're making the Frost Giant our guardian of there. And of course then, one of the prisoners will reveal one of the prisoners, let's make them, you know what? Here's the thing to do. One prisoner been there since Drow took over. Was a priest of temple. And it could be like some long-lived, it could be longer braced, it could just be someone that's been here for like, you know, decades, because, you know, it could be a while, but doesn't have to be that long for, you know, like a Dragonborn who was here in his 30s and now it's like his 60s, because it's really long. Let's make it a Dragonborn. Knows of secret door with special catch of weapons and magical gear hidden during the fall of the temple. So now we have the secret door, and I'm going to use that. I'm going to use the secret door to give a bunch of treasure and items that maybe there's like a, I don't know, a stuff that'd be very good for fighting an evil dragon. And then we end up having our last two things here. Big battle with the adult black dragon, which I've got this full art one, which is really cool that I got the full art version of it. You know, that was really cool to get. Battle against final boss, big adult black dragon using artifact to summon aspect of Tiamat. And you stop its plans, you stop it, and there you go. We've now finished our adventure in 3 parts here. Got some good 3 parts. So why don't we do what we usually do in these cases and kind of review what we just put together here, because I think I like this one here. This is a little bit more epic than some of the other adventures, but I gotta be honest, the cards screamed epic. Sometimes they do. You know, you gotta listen to the cards that they're given here. You know? And I'm just checking the, you know, the little things on the bottom here. Like, I feel like the Frost Giant could be a mercenary, rather. You know, yeah, let's make it Frost Giant mercenary. Where is that? The Frost Giant. Bugbear. Mercenary. Frost Giant. I just feel because of it's like the Frost Giants carry the trophies of the greatest victories in the battle, fashion armor strength of savage beautifully. I feel like that screams that. Yeah. So I think that kind of hits up on that. They've got your, you got your NPC cleric to help them out. I'm just checking the, the words on some of these cards here. Just to see what is there one for? Okay. Let's talk about our story, and we'll go through it card by card. Your PCs, a group of adventurers that have been traveling together, get a contact from an old friend, a fellow adventurer who had been part of their own party and basically a mentor to these PCs. Unfortunately, they passed away. But, in their will, they've left them a number of items. Journeying to his estate to get their unexpected windfall, they find it under attack. A powerful, but still not powerful enough to fight them, green dragon is attacking the estate. In the meantime, while this green dragon is attacking the estate, it seems a number of hired warlocks are attacking the estate too. One of them manages to steal away a key. The PCs are, of course, helped out by a longtime friend and compatriot of their friend who passed away. A warrior who'd been their kind of like, became their kind of manservant in their old age in order to look after them and help them out. This warrior helped them assist it and knew of the key and the materials. Not part of the original adventure party, but an old friend. He was able to tell them that some of the passed away friends, former adventurer pals, are still around the area and may know something about this key and why it's so important to be stolen. He unfortunately does not know why. This takes them to a local town where they first confront the bard of the party. Now the bard, the tiefling bard, let's make sure it's a tiefling bard. Let's make note of that. Tiefling bard, tiefling bard, tiefling. And dwarf, and we'll keep it the same races. Human. The tiefling bard, which they are contacting, he really is hard to convince to get them to help. He's trying to relive old glory, but has reached an age where it's really hard to have that glory anymore. And so drinks and tells stories, and probably gets into fights in bars and stuff like that. But convincing them to help, they'll learn that the key was something that the party had discovered a number of years ago and seemed to relate to some kind of old, ruined church. Of course, the one that knows more about it was looking into it still, and this is from one of their last battles, was the dwarven priest of the group, who was a knowledge-based cleric. Looking into it, they can find him with a little bit of traveling and learn about the ancient temple of Bahamut. It had been there for quite a while and fallen to drow approximately 50 years ago, we'll say. Yeah, 50 years sounds about right for this adventuring party. 50 years ago. We'll put that detail in. The key was supposed to be to a secret area where there was a powerful artifact. So the idea is that maybe these people are trying to steal a powerful artifact. Now, unfortunately, because of what his... what's the word I'm looking for? Need in the area here, he cannot leave. But he can send a representative of his order. Another cleric with them who can assist them. One of his acolytes. And he hopes that he'll be able to help them. They'll also know that the area the temple was turned to swampland by dark magic. And the temple sunk into the swamp, or said to have disappeared beneath it. So, having sent that person with them, they will also learn of a druid who was looking into the location of the temple within the swamp, with the hopes of maybe recovering that artifact. One last thing to do, because they do have this key. A druid friend of his unfortunately lost contact with a druid friend. Heading to the swamp, they'll learn rumors of a bugbear tribe, and that perhaps they've been taking some prisoners lately. This leads them to confronting said bugbear tribe, who are apparently working for the forces that stole it, an evil black dragon, which they'll be able to learn about by rescuing the druid is there. That a black dragon has moved into the ruins of the temple and converted its catacombs into a dark temple of Tiamat to twist the ways there. So now they are forced to head there to the temple of Tiamat. Along the way, they have to enter the ruins of the Temple of Bahamut, where they confront an old iron golem that once guarded the place. Still left over from the battle, it was originally locked away. Now let loose to guard. Damaged, but still enough to dissuade most things from entering the area. It proves a very difficult opponent, but some of the PCs to overcome. Then they must enter the temple proper. The temple proper, of course, has a trapped entryway from the land route to keep anybody out. Many dead ends with strange traps in them, and of course a prison where prisoners are being assembled for sacrifice to the dark ritual that the Black Dragon is doing. There, a mercenary frost giant, where are you, frost giant, is guarding the prisoners. Overcoming it, they will rescue an ancient dragonborn who's been trapped here since the fall of the temple. Trapped eventually when the drows took this over, and when the dragon took it over and began the ritual, he was also trapped. He would make a fine sacrifice according to the Black Dragon. They'll learn that the artifact is being corrupted to summon an aspect of Tiamat, and the humanoid sacrifice was going to be used against it. But this character will also know of a secret door where old treasures of the temple could be left over and be used to fight the Black Dragon. And so then the PCs must go and confront the Black Dragon and hopefully defeat it. And once they have defeated the Black Dragon, they will prevent the aspect of Tiamat from coming into this world and save the day. That's the adventure. That's another fun one. This is a much more epic one than the past ones, but I like it still nonetheless. It's a higher level one. A little bit more difficult to run. Again, I feel like 10th level is the top tier. That's around the top tier I feel comfortable running in 5e. But certainly, there could be people that enjoy running higher levels. This screams 10th level. Give your players a bunch of magic items that would definitely help out fighting a Black Dragon. The Black Dragon CR 14, they're going to be 10, 11 level. You're going to want to supplement them stuff. Give them some things that are specifically evil dragon fighting things, like maybe a sword, bow and arrows, special arrows, there's a lot of stuff you can give. Take a look, find a group of I don't know, 2 or 3 magic items per PC that they can get that makes them feel we did good rescuing these people and stuff like that, and made ourselves ready to fight against this, Black Dragon who's trying to summon Tiamat. And that'll be the fun part of it. So I think this is a pretty good adventure. I hope you've all enjoyed joining me in this quest. Again, if you watch my notes here, I made all these notes on the adventure too. Of course, I always save these notes because honestly, I would like to run these one day. Run these adventures. I'll let people know about it. So this is another random adventure in the books. Now, it's drawing Tiamat, the Tomb of Annihilation, and a Black Dragon, and an Iron Golem. Didn't make this easy. But, as you saw, we had ways. Making a damaged Iron Golem that's maybe at 2/3 or half health instantly makes it a lot more fightable. Making the Black Dragon have magic items to fight about it with a secret door. Making Tiamat be the big bad MacGuffin, kind of thing. I'm doing all these things to kind of build the adventure using these cards in a way that's interesting, but it keeps it at its general power level. Like a tribe of bugbears can be pretty difficult. You can have a lot of normal bugbears, but you can also have some more elite ones that can be very dangerous. And certainly the idea that there's a kind of investigation on what's this key and where it came from to start out with, and giving them a clerical little bit of assistance can help out a lot too. So, thank you for joining me on this adventure. I'm going to be going. Remember to check out all the links in the description below, like, subscribe, etc. Helps with these videos and these ones that go up here specifically on YouTube. I'll put more of these out in the future, definitely. But until the next time that I do that, I bid you farewell.